I agree. You work with Jody on.
So we got to start from the beginning.
What?
You gotta do
I'm just
everything the
kidding.
same.
We're doing a lot of stuff in the next couple of months, moving forward. So I think, but this is going to be a critical time, and also the holiday time, so we've got to consider that too, families and everything else. But to get ready for the May, and along this is going to be a whole communication plan that Peg and Tom are working on, where we're going to take the message, where we're going to go. And then there'll be the grant funding we'll be doing along the way. So when we get to the portion of the time when we got to put this on the town meeting, we have an idea what kind of money is available and what kind of impact, along with what's going to debt reduction that's going to come off the books. That's going to be probably charged to Mike, you, and Alana, since you're close to the committee, and Jody once she comes on board too. Okay. So that's the big piece. Alana, you've got a hard stop at 7, correct?
It was Jack, I think.
And Jack too.
So there's the warrant walkthrough for the special town meeting is at 7.
Okay.
So I need to attend that.
Okay. So are there any other important items on this growth schedule, which we'll keep refining, that you think we should add? I'm going to let the communication schedule be itself. I'm going to let the funding and grant schedule be itself as Lonnie and Mark, and whoever else can help. Jack, okay.
I'm here. You want me to give an update?
Sure, you can give us an update,
well,
Jack,
yeah,
so
tell
you're
me.
here.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that as far as 52 Providence, the affordable housing, we've now signed contracts with Garrier and Hamlin to do the access crossing. And we've signed a contract with Environmental Tech to do the permit, well, not the pre-permitting for the directional drilling. We've met with them both separately, and I believe, maybe someone knows this, I believe the consultant from Environmental Tech was going to be out there this week, weather pending, so perhaps today or tomorrow, to start his due diligence. The whole idea is to have, to have the directional drilling piece done by December, maybe January, and have the crossing not only designed, but permitted by the Conservation Commission by January. That's the goal. And so that's moving along. As far as the water and sewer study, as you know, they got permission to drill back of the senior center, technically on the 52 Providence property. They've done that. I don't know, this is probably good news for you, but they did not find much yield at all. And so I believe we're going to abandon that site at the senior center. We also drilled in back of Providence Street on that property we own that's landlocked, and we did get a very good yield there. Now we're waiting for the water testing to come in to see if it's contaminated or has minerals that have to be filtered and what that whole number would possibly look like. But that's a ways away. We are meeting, our little subcommittee is going to be meeting, I think, next week. I haven't seen a schedule go out, but to kind of talk about these findings I just told you and go from there.
Jack, I have a question. I want to clarify something. The water testing that you're testing for contaminants, where is that property? Which one is that?
That's back, Lonnie, help me. It's
Sorry, say it again. I was busy enough.
it's that second town-owned site that's landlocked off of Providence down
Is it
the
where
ways.
intersection is? As if you were going to Blackstone? Is it that way on the left?
No, if you go into Millville, I believe. I forget the name of the property. It's open space owned by the town.
Sorry, Jack, one more
What's
time,
that?
back me up. Where is it near? On Providence Road.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the fella's name. We got an easement from the fella that gave us access.
was-
And I can't remember.
What was
I
this?
don't,
I think the email that I saw said it was 198
there
Providence
you go.
Street.
There you go. Thank you. I was just looking for my
198.
email.
Where's that?
198 Providence?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right here, yeah. So it's actually, it's across from Alaire in the back there. Oh, actually, Chris Alaire is 208. 198 is Brock, that's 198A, Brock Old. And
Yeah,
then-
we talked to him. There was somebody else we got access. Anyway, that was fairly fruitful. I haven't seen the numbers. I just saw a little email that came through. The details we're gonna be talking to again with the subcommittee.
That's for the well?
Correct.
So it would be way down there?
Yeah,
Side of town.
town-owned property. It's
Not ours.
cheap.
No, I know that, but I was trying to get the connection with what we're discussing.
Oh, I think the point, Jack was trying to make the point that they were looking at land around the senior center to be used for the town well, or
Right,
a
and,
well.
and there wasn't enough water.
There wasn't enough yield
Right.
there. So
Right.
that parcel was knocked off, our parcel, I guess. So
Right.
the piece to know is that we don't have contention. Remember, we used to have,
With the water treatment?
With the
With the
water.
water treatment,
Right.
okay,
so,
I see, all right.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
just
that's-
giving you some information. I don't know where it's gonna go from here, but we'll let you know.
yeah, we won't be part of, we'll have to,
Well, the building, wherever we go, the building's gonna have its own source of water.
Yeah.
It should be.
okay. Okay, since Jack and Alana, you both have to jump off, I'm going to skip this quickly, just, the next piece in your packet is a flyer handout, which has, you need a bigger boat. We're going to plan to hand this out at the town meeting on Monday or Tuesday, whatever that day is.
Is that a reference to a movie?
Jaws. Bum, bum, bum,
Okay.
bum, bum.
And there's the
All right.
boat.
It was another movie I had in mind, but okay.
We're not talking about the Love Boat line.
No, thinking
I'm
it
gonna
makes
have-
sense now. Thank you.
Peg and Amy do a quick visual on this and some data checking the next day or two.
All right,
But if you have any comments on it as a team, I'll electronically push this out tomorrow morning. But what I did is, taking a note from the team, we had that nice flyer that had all the stuff we do, but didn't say why we needed a new building.
right. That was Tom's
So
suggestion.
I've done some license to change, community center building project, not just say we're going to expand, keep it broader. And I put a time frame, 2024, which means at the bottom, it's going to come to you in May, basically. Then did you know, I'm taking up on Mike's comments there, 28% of the population, 1,710 people. 20, and it's not few, up from 25, got a typo, cut and paste error. Up from just a few years ago, 25% doesn't belong there.
Okay, so we'll just cross that off.
Yep. Plus, we're serving an additional 150 families under the age of 60. The building was built 35 years ago.
We'll go back to that, though. You're serving we're serving 150 families, but are we going to say what kind of services, or you're just going to be general?
We have that flyer.
Okay,
And when we speak to people, we can probably tell, that's the food pantry, it's fuel assistance,
right.
it's medical, it's emergency relief.
So this is an additional 150 from a baseline?
Of a baseline of 6,100 and something, I think is the population.
All right, I'll run this by Amy.
Well, it's easy to say, just the population of Maine is just over 6,000.
There you go.
Okay,
We serve approximately 150 families under the age of 60. So that, again, to put an actual finger on a number isn't the important. It's
Right.
getting the information out that we're more than just the seniors.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And I
I mean, the families, the under 60 piece is the key there, saying it's not just seniors being
Right.
served by this.
It's a
Yeah.
going back to senior center communities.
Yes. And, you know, that brings up another point, if we could fit it into it. In Amy's facts, she does have, like, we had like 52 meetings, scouts, Lions, various meetings additionally held at the center per year. But I'll have to check her records on that. And I think, you know, the building was built 35 years ago, updated, I think, 17 years ago. Currently, it's too small, at the end of the day. One event max size is 35 to 45 people, including staff and volunteers. Need a max size of at least 125 plus multiple activity meeting rooms. Current size of the building is approximately 1,800 square feet. And we need approximately just under 7,000.
So I think working the phrase that we have outgrown the building. The present site served us well 35 years ago.
Yep.
But today, 35 years later, it's very obvious that we've outgrown it. Because the facts we just mentioned up above, 28% of the population, prove it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what the 25% was.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it was only 25% of the population. So we're an aging population with the rest of the demographics in the country.
So are we,
I have more company.
let me ask, with the new building, is there actually a target for a building that's 7,000 square feet?
The floor plan he has somewhere, I threw 7,000 out because the latest floor plan, which I didn't bring, is right under 6. And we wanted to add more space to the food pantry because it was too still. It looked like a cubbyhole. So it's going to be between 6 and 7,000. It's minimally 6, but he's going to build out the food pantry. We also asked for additional space for the, if you count some of the areas we're looking in the garage off garage, which is for the durable medical equipment.
We have a lot of that.
So we're easily 7,000.
We haven't actually decided on the actual design of the building.
We're not yet. We're going to be
No.
getting close to that.
When we do, we gotta tell the architect that we want to design, we want it to look nice, of course. We want it to really, but we also want it so that we don't go through this again. Our grandsons and granddaughters don't go through it again. We want to be able to add on in a manner that it doesn't look like an add-on. You know, and it's all in what we do now.
That's true. It's like Clough was designed that way to be able to put on other bolts potentially.
Right.
Or the one out in Nipmuc. Okay. Good point. Then some other facts we just threw in there. I wasn't going to go through this, but we are. Lunch days are limited. We do 2 days, 3 days,
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
2 days. And that's just because we have too many programs. There's no reason why we couldn't offer lunches more often. We'd have to get more volunteers, obviously, but we've got a giving town. But we can't have lunch and we can't have fitness at the same time because we use the same area.
I mean, that's the headline, right? You've got a single
One room,
room,
one room.
because you got 3 bullets on here that speak to the same issue of no parallel, ability for parallel
Right.
activities or lunches, what have you.
Single function. That's a bullet. Parking overflow. We're limited. We wind up going across the street.
Very dangerous.
Function room needs to be configured 1 or more times a day based on the activities. Staff spends probably hours a day.
Taking down and putting up the
Breaking down.
tables.
They could be helping people out. Kitchen space supports only 2 to 3 staff members and volunteers. A test, I'm big, I don't fit in there with 2 other people. So that's another inefficiency.
Is there a number that Amy has in her mind in terms of the kitchen, if it's sized to spec to accommodate the numbers you want? Is there a number there?
I think
Yeah,
Mike,
it's
go ahead.
I was going to say it's 20 feet by 15, something like that, approximately, 20 by 15.
I'm just thinking, but is it still 2 to 3 people, or do you actually need more than 3 people to run the kitchen effectively to support the programs you intend to have?
Probably, you get more than 3 or 4, you get more than 5 people and there's too many.
No, but you mean in the
Yeah,
future, you're talking
future,
about
so-
the future one.
Yeah, right now, you're limited to what you can.
Yeah, there were 3 of us in there today,
Right,
and
it's
we were
tight.
just in each other's way.
But ideally, the kitchen should be able to support
5 or
3 to
6.
5,
I would say 5
whatever,
or 6.
in order to support the planned lunches, et cetera,
Because if
that you
they're, yeah,
intend
if
to
they're
do.
eating at that, in that great room, a multi-purpose room, whatever you call it, yeah.
So we need to, we got another day or two to work on it. Administrative assistant sits out in the function room because she has no.
And she's
place else to
answering the phone, which is a privacy issue. It's a privacy issue.
sit. There's no meeting space for one-on-ones or small groups, talking about health-related stuff. Limited space example, elders have 90 members. I think there's actually more than that. The meeting space is limited to 45 max,
Right.
and we only have parking for 20, so we can never accommodate the whole group.
Everything you've said so far goes back to, this is why we need it. This is how we've outgrown. These are all examples of how we've outgrown it.
So maybe, rather than today, this is why we need it.
All of you have been down there, right? You've all been in there. Okay, well, that's good. So you know what we're talking about.
And at the end of the day, this is just collateral pieces that will, but stay tuned for regular updates on the building plans. We'll need your support in May. So tell them now, we'll need you in May. And want to help volunteer, contact me or Peg, and I'm okay with that. if
I'm
you're
okay with that. Huh?
So that's generally this piece. Yes, Mark?
Where do we stand with notifying the community that it also serves as an emergency shelter? That's not on here. Is that something that
Just add it.
should be including?
Absolutely. 100%.
Emergency shelter for the community is maxed at 30.
In the current space.
Would you
So-
say, I'm sorry,
No, I was just going to say, so when you see the layout, you'll have a better number for us then.
Are you sure?
how would you assess the current building in terms of being an adequate emergency shelter? Is it lacking?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that should be called out
The things
too.
that come out right away is it doesn't have any showers.
Right.
Right.
Which is a requirement for a true emergency shelter.
There's a hose.
It is a hose.
We're sending them to your house.
Well, back when I had.
The water
some
pressure's not
say,
good.
On the fire department, the agreement was with the chief at the time that we would send people, who had to use the shower to go to the fire station. I don't know if that's something we really want. We need it indoors, we need it, in the building itself.
I would call that, it's our emergency shelter and it's currently inadequate to meet the needs of an emergency shelter.
There are other things.
All of those worked fine 35 years ago.
Right.
So again, going back to, we gotta make people really understand, hey, 35 years ago, we were the little town of Mendon, to coin a phrase.
Yeah.
We're not.
No. It was created, the emergency shelter was created in 1993. That's why we put the generator there. That was under Mike Farrell, who was in charge of emergency management at the time. So that's how long that generator's been there. That's how long that generator's been in service. We haven't maintained it a year. Jeff Brigham does a great job on it, but we'll also, even if we don't move, we're gonna outgrow that pretty soon. So, but, there are other smaller things that are needed. Again, to be a true emergency shelter, we need some type of animal care, whether it's an outdoor pen, things along, when people are gonna wanna bring the cats and dogs, they have to leave their house for any period of time, so just something to think about. And I kind of laid that out in the document that I created to talk about what we have for shelters right now, so that the group understands. It's not just a senior center, but that's what everything is right now.
So I think we need to definitely say that the current emergency is inadequate. It's not
The Red Cross is on board already. Actually, they're coming out to review our shelters in the next month because we have to sign an agreement with them.
Okay. Good.
It's all valuable information to pass on. So again, how many people in town really know that that's what you, that's coming up and you better do that?
It goes back to maybe another person to the communication. I still need to get to Karen Slater Mead.
Oh, Slattery Mead, yeah.
Yeah, the person who does the Facebook in town. Maybe we can get her connected to this committee.
Amendment Gazette.
And I think is that great place to put some of this information.
She'll get it out for you. She does a good job.
And maybe she can join the communications committee.
Sure.
Okay. We'll come back, Mark, to that piece that you have you wanted to pass out, but I wanted to touch upon, this is the next page you have in this file is the summarization of all the data, and that's the senior center, community center ranking, 1 through 4, 1 being the top choice. I'm sorry, maybe I got it confused.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Essentially what I did, I took the input of the detail, we have all the details here.
Water board?
We took the details, I took the details from all the various input that people had. Everybody ranked them, some level of order. I put it in this sequence because I felt that the architect and the project manager, Jack's not on there, so I'm not trying to compliment him here, but they've got experience with senior centers. They understand what the designs look like. They understand what the needs are. And in Mike's report, he talks about his minutes from our last meeting that I handed out. He talks about why he made these recommendations. His recommendations would be North Avenue and Route 16, number 1, and North Avenue, Hopedale Street, number 2. I'm offering this out, just to quickly say that if you look at all 4, it looks like Morrison Drive, we should not really waste much more time even talking about.
No.
Because
If anything's gonna happen at Morrison Drive, my recommendation probably means this much, but it would be to expand the fire department. You just said they're outgrowing that building.
there you go, as a future expansion.
I don't have any say in it, but sounds good to me.
But I mean, it might be,
Well, it's the right location.
Well,
It's the right location. I mean, they're right there.
You're looking at something that's right there, they're gonna need to expand, and again, we went from that building over there for a fire station to the building you're in now, and here we are, how long is it, 10, 12 years now?
More than that.
Outgrow.
The station down there was in 2007.
Yeah, 16 years now.
But even as a training room, a meeting room, storage, we asked the chief now that he said they've outgrown it, they're using that landing area and then dock.
Right.
Which still I think so.
So we've got a shell of a building there, we've got the land there, so.
But this goes back to, this all ties in and goes back to what Mendon's always done. They outgrew that building the day they walked into it. The senior center, that was outgrown the day you walked
Yeah.
into it. The police station, it was outgrown the day you walked into it, the old one. So these are just fixes to the problems that Mendon keeps putting Band-Aids on. And I know there was a lot of effort that was put into the senior center now, and it was Tommy Atkinson and a lot of fundraising. But again, it wasn't done the way it should have been. It was done
Well,
old style Mendon.
in defense of that mindset, is that's what we had to do, it's the only options we had, because at the time, our money situation in town was very, very poor, and we were dealing with a regional school system that happens to be one of the best in the state, but that costs money to get it there. And that's where we've been spending all our money over the last.
I got you. I think it's a little bit of that, plus just bad financial management back then, because the thing is, you spent what you spent, but now we see the outcome that it costs more.
Right,
The police station, what we could have built back then compared to what we build back now, and we're gonna pay for it now the next 25 years, just like we are with this building.
yeah, and if you'll just look at the senior center, I mean, the cost of Massachusetts building costs, just to keep up with environmental climate conditions, structure, not fancy, 20% more to build your house.
I don't know how you try to get the message out too, that we're building now for the stability of Mendon in the future, It seems like a lot right now, but this is to make men stable for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
I think that, I don't think I can weave all that through this little message we're going to hand out at a meeting, but I think that's a good message we need to carry forward, Chief.
I think that's part of a larger message. Honestly, this is just one significant project among many that roll into that theme, like doing it the
Well,
right way. going
maybe the select board could carry this message that this is the new way we're doing business.
All you think is 500.
But anyway, I went through the data. I felt as committee people, our comments and thoughts should be public because we make them public here. So I listed all the names.
That's fine.
Other people who contributed from the COA board, other individuals, I didn't put them there just because wasn't comfortable. And then the other thing I threw in here was traffic data. And I took a look at the volume and pattern based on what I got from MassDOT. Chief, I don't know if you want to talk to that a bit.
Yeah, and I called DOT a little bit more. They said these numbers should suffice. But that was something that came up during all the site studies saying that, 16 is so busy compared to Providence Road. But if you actually look at the study, and if you go on the site, you can actually pull up the graphs and the data. There's actually, from North Ave at Clough School, over twice as much traffic a day that goes by the old senior center now on Providence Road. And then if you go North Ave and Hopedale, there's 3 times as much traffic on Providence Road. So, I mean, that was a big concern I think Amy had, that the traffic was going to be worse on the North Ave sites when actually it was significantly better.
You know what's so funny about this? This number is so funny that everybody that goes down Providence Road goes by the senior center. The number is exact. And then everybody that heads towards Upton, you lose 1,000 of those cars on Northbridge Road.
They're going, they're going,
Right, they're going the other way.
Imagine that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
because, well, the number for Providence is down on Maple Street, so you get maybe some people cutting off through the cut over to George, but that's not a lot. They're going
No,
down.
there's not, right, but,
Cutting through George Street.
I
no,
do.
but I take it now and then for the scenic ride around the golf course.
I'll try to go slow then.
Or I'm going to Mike's to fix his internet.
But, I thought I explored the various sites. There's some charts here. That website, I'll send you this electronic so you can link on it. This is as of a Monday or a Tuesday in 2022, after the pandemic. And there were, if you look at all their charts, you'll see it went down during the pandemic, but steady, constant. And I think, I rated that North Ave, Hopedale Street be number 1, the least amount of traffic. North Ave and 16 is number 2 in the current location. And I threw Morrison Drive as the same as that because.
Well, there's no traffic on
Right.
Morrison Drive.
Yeah, well,
Free fire traffic.
but to get in there, you got to go there. But I think Morrison Drive, from the standpoint of this committee, we won't talk about it anymore.
We did our due diligence.
And we'll summarize the issues with it. I bring this out, and I want to ask this team, and we have one select person with us. I think it's our responsibility to come up and say, well, here's our recommendation for the location for the senior center. That's responsibility. And then we take it forward to the select board and ask for their approval and present to them whatever else we need to present. But I think it's our responsibility here as a group. And at our next meeting, I'd like to really have everybody sit there and think about, where do you review these numbers, because this is where you came in at. Make sure you're comfortable with them, but I'd like to, next meeting, come in and say, I motion that we move that North Ave Route 16 is selected because it has the best overall evaluation from people. And here's why. And then let it rip for a bit, have it a working session. Or change minds in the meeting. And if anybody wants all this data, I'll bring it in a book and you can review all the notes.
Bill, I would keep this in summary form in the appendix because you're going to cut off a lot of questions from the board when you present with a recommendation.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Oh, absolutely.
it pretty much, it logically shows you where we landed potentially. Now, the board might have a different opinion. They're welcome to it, but at least you've got a sound grounding as to why a decision was made.
I talked to Dave earlier, and he brought up some good points, is that the architect and the project manager, Jack, they live in this world.
Mhm.
They live in it day and night. they all know all four sites. And they all have different opinions. Jack has his opinions why Morrison's not right and why North Ave's right. Mike Petrovic looks at North Ave 16 and has high praise for the facility. The backdrop he doesn't worry about in his notes, you'll see. It's excellent to do a open back. It's a two-story building, but he's planning elevators anyway now. We'd do the same at 16 and go up and down. I think these charts that you see and you look here, you'll find that the peak traffic times are going to be between 7 and 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when the buses roll through. And then they're going to be at the afternoon when the buses roll out. We'd have that also at somewhat to a degree out in Hopedale Street. But I'd like next week to say, next meeting, we'd say 2 weeks. We'd sit down and, make a recommendation. Other factors can happen. If Gary wants to donate, we can name a Shirley Smith building anywhere, right?
Is that the only land he owns that he's
Well,
willing to part
I
with?
mean, if they want to be philanthropical about something other than land, because you're going to look at potentially making that a better proposition for us. Lonnie, I don't know.
I thought at the last meeting you said that it would be, everything is all on the level playing field.
Right.
Yes, he would donate the land, but as far as money goes, we're on a level playing field.
Well, yeah, there was just no money discussed. So again,
Right.
until there was a number that can be brought forward, we have to assume that's zero.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
All right.
But I guess my only side caveat is, if anybody wanted to name this building and donate $500,000, and they want to put a name on it, I don't care.
Happens all the time.
Yeah,
It'd
naming
be Kevin
rights.
Meehan Senior Community Center, great,
Yeah, I mean, he's got the nice one in Milford.
It doesn't have to, it could be the wing, this wing of the.
Yes.
Depends on the donation.
We'll all get a brick.
But, so anyway, this is, and then the numbers down below just say the total number of rankings, ones, twos and twos by the 4 columns. That's the information I think is important for the team.
So just to be sure I'm understanding this, nobody put the current location as 1. Is that what you're telling me? Is that?
Actually, 3 others put them as 1.
The anonymous people.
They're
Oh,
not-
the others. Oh, yeah. Okay. But that
It's
would be.
anonymous.
We left the anonymous non-board and
Who did the survey go out to that's off this board?
I don't know.
COA. We have
Oh.
1 member from the COA. We had, 2 members from the COA. And then we had
Gotcha.
a member, Amy, who's non-resident, but actually runs the place. She has an opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense now. I got you.
Okay, but the general committee, no one on the general committee chose that as 1.
No.
Is that what? Okay, I just want to be sure. of that.
The biggest factor about there's 2 that came in. We'd shut down any disaster recovery for a year, but then we displace everybody for a year as well. That was my big factors. And then when you throw the traffic and everything else in there, the buildability from the architect thought the buildability is tough on that lot, so.
Can I ask a question? Is there any consideration for what may or may not happen with the portion of land that's still privately owned on the corner of 16 and North Ave?
What's the
possibly-
question?
Well, could something potentially go there?
Yeah.
If the senior center were to go there as well?
Yeah.
Could something still go on that?
100%.
Is it commercial? It's commercial too, right? It's still
Absolutely.
commercial?
Absolutely.
And that's probably a pretty realistic at some point in the future.
I would
have to say, yeah.
I would hope so. I mean,
Well, maybe,
But I think
maybe
it
because
would-
they
I
needed the
don't-
town to play ball, because the town did play ball last time. The lot, the way it was, remember we needed.
No, it wasn't the
Cumberland
town.
Farms needed,
It was the water situation. They
but
didn't want.
but
They
that's
needed
because of the distances, they needed more land from the town, and it was a 20-foot strip, and that's why the Cumberland Farms fell apart. They couldn't, the town, at the special town meeting,
maybe.
voted not to give the easement in the land. Because you need to be so far away with your well and your septic, and
Yeah.
they don't have the room there.
so the town has some control of it unless the revenue stream makes sense. I mean, as an influence.
I just wondered if the senior center were to go on that lot of land right on the corner there. could something else going up on that other piece of land be
You know, and
considered?
I don't know how feasible it is, but with the senior center having a public water supply, that may be something that commercial piece might be able to tap into now as, and be able to purchase water from that public water supply.
Town could have leverage on it.
So that might help the corner. I mean, it would be nice to have something there that,
I mean, the Cumbies would have been great. That Cumbies is beautiful. I hope that would have been beautiful. That
no, sure, sure. I just,
It was on the crap hole across the street.
I know, I don't know that,
It just hurt.
I don't know that the owner of said property would want to put a Cumbies there now, given given what he's got up the street, but, whatever would go there, I think would be,
Yeah.
probably something they well thought out.
So,
More traffic though, too. Would generate more traffic.
I don't think it's gonna be a destination type of item, but passerby traffic would definitely.
CVS, the doctor's office, the gas station, there's not much else.
Yeah, I mean, CVS, God, that'd be crazy at that point, because we have one on each end, so they're not probably looking. Walgreens just built a brand new facility in Milford, which is really close. I mean, I don't foresee any big box type thing.
there's a high demand of traffic, but if you
Maybe
have,
another restaurant.
you have Cumberland down at that end, I don't know if you need another one.
No, right. Well, that's the thing. Cumberland Farms was looking to move here from there, I think, at that point. And but then they ended up buying land in Hopedale. They bought that house and tore it down next door.
Expanded.
Right. Wow, I forgot that right. There was a house there.
So I guess, Tom, something could go there, but, and then we have the other good thing Chief and I talked about too, is the fact that the roads are gonna improve up there.
Well, 16 is going to be improved. We talked about, if Kevin's putting in a supermarket down there, and then the other housing that goes in, and if, some convenience, there might be a drugstore in the supermarket, and now another bank's going over there, and it's going to be sidewalks on 16. It's going to create more of a downtown area that might be convenient for the seniors too. While they're out at the senior center, they can get their medications. The doctor's office is down the street on 16. I don't know how many people at the doctor's office over there, but there's a lot locally there that can tie in.
And, you're always talking about it, Mike, if you look long-term, our grandkids' kids, maybe if we build something around, put something in the center of a town and start to build it out nicely and due diligence on it over time, that'd be nice. Because we have no, we don't have much in the center.
We're not gonna stop this.
Okay.
How can anybody even afford to buy a house in this town? Seriously?
Oh, the kids need
They'll do fine. I keep telling them to go to study.
Phil and I talked about that too. Multi-generational family is starting to happen too. You're starting to see families live together, and that's why
Yeah.
this building should be designed around that way with a pickleball ball court that everybody can use, because, the parents can be upstairs, having their lunch in, and someone can be downstairs doing the pickleball, different generations, and this building, really, we should look at it as more of a multi-generational building too, the way things are going now.
And I think with the design that Mike will present to this team here, I saw preliminary plans. There's enough function rooms that I can see multiple activities going on simultaneously without disruption. If you can park, which we can, if you have space and the proper wall and insulations, you can have exercise rooms going on. My daughter said to me, I remember when Mary Ann, our old neighbor, used to do yoga classes. I used to go there. And she's what, then probably 30-something. So,
Yeah,
I got the wrong agenda.
I got the selectmen's agenda.
I got the wrong agenda. What else is on the agenda?
Oh, sorry.
About claws and claws, or whatever it is,
Adjourn.
for about 3 hours.
No, yeah.
No,
Only other action item, loose one, is that Mike is connected with our accounts payable, Mike Petrovic. So all that stuff got connected this week, and that seems to be fun. Whatever they're doing, they're doing. And I approve the one, he's looking for 130.
I think, I don't know, I feel like we went through everything. Update on the architect requirement, no? High-level schedule, communications, we went through all that. Funding, state reps, building, site assessment, recommendation, you did that. Review of action items, we went over that with Jack. New topics for the next meeting. Approve the meeting minutes. Do we have the dates? Is it just the last meeting?
It was just the last meeting.
What
We
was
didn't
that
approve
date?
It was the 17th, October 17th.
I move to approve the meeting minutes for October 17th, 2023.
I second him. I sent them all to Dan Byer to have it all posted and the new list of everybody's name. He's had that for a couple weeks.
Does anybody have anything else?
You just got to say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wrong.
Moving this thing along, aren't we?
Huh?
Moving it along.
Well, I didn't have the agenda next, all right. No, what?
We don't have-
There wasn't.
Who's
Yeah,
opposing?
Mike's
my
opposed last minute. You weren't at the meeting, you don't get to vote. Any abstentions?
One of the things that comes up, my concern is that, and maybe Mike, you can help us here with Jack, is once we pick a location, we still, no matter what's been done from a engineering study, we still need to figure out, will it support a building that has up to potentially 300 capacity? What kind of sewer, leach field and acreage? So that's gonna be an awful big thing we need to do in parallel, because Mike is doing the design, but we need that engineering piece nailed down. So once we pick a site, I don't want to spend that money on 4
Oh,
sites.
thank you.
But if we pick a site, let's go attack that site and get it done.
It's not on here, sorry.
Maybe you
You'll have
can
to wait
help
till
us
next
out
week.
there. Sounds like you've been there before.
I think one, I know, who printed this?
This doesn't seem like something we're using.
This is heavy duty stuff.
Oh, he's got really heavy.
This is expensive.
We'll be using it in the back.
Mark just wanted to go over
Oh, yes,
the,
please. I'm sorry, Mark. Good point.
I was talking with Amy, discussion at the last meeting about what the shelter is, so I don't want any misconceptions of what we actually have. So that's what I kind of laid out real quickly on that piece of paper. Obviously, the senior center right now is a true emergency shelter minus the showers. Fit 30 people, we keep on hand all the cots, all the toiletries, all the bedding. Toiletries actually double, but we keep double of everything there except for the cots. So we can sleep 30 people in the building. It has a generator. Obviously, the food pantry's there, so if we need immediate food, before we get some help, we got it there. The water's downstairs. And the impact, if we'd open up a shelter there, nothing can happen at the senior center until we close the shelter. You can't have your activities, you can't have your meals. There's a lot of places to go with what we have right there.
Well, that makes sense, because if we are using it as a shelter, we've got bigger problems.
Right.
The Boy Scouts want to use it, or such and such.
And currently, what it's used right now is, we haven't had to use a full shelter, but we have sheltered some families for like 8 hours until we could put them into a hotel, or they could go back into the homes. But we have opened it on occasion for a warming center. Should somebody lose power, they come to the senior center, they can stay warm, have a quick meal. I have a complete setup of charging stations so they can charge their phones, whatever they need to do. There's Wi-Fi there if they have to. And the same thing on the cooling center. So if we've got these emergency hot days that we went into in the summer, air conditioners on, they can cool off, grab a cool drink, do whatever they need to do, and they can go back home. The Clough School is our next, what we call large capacity shelter. The building is there, the emergency generator is there, and then that's it. There are no supplies there for a shelter. This would be where FEMA, the Red Cross would step in,
They
the
bring-
supplies that we need for large capacity. But it does have a generator, it has the kitchen, it has showers, it has everything that we would need for an emergency shelter. But we would require help, outside help. And then when a building's that big, you need to start thinking about security, whether we have the police department there, again, some type of an animal shelter if we get to that point. And then the bigger the facility, the more staff we need to cover the shelter itself. Fire department would have to provide some medical care here and there. That would have a high impact, because if we're using the building as a shelter, you can't go to school. You can't have the kids going, you would be able to go to school. Again, like I said, if we're using that as a high capacity shelter, we got a bigger problem.
Major disaster.
And the only other, the Misco School is an emergency dispensing site only. Doesn't have backup generators, that's why we couldn't use it as a shelter, but it can be a dispensing site, which has already been approved for. So we have a pandemic, we're handing out shots of medications to That's all been set up and approved by both our Board of Health and the Department of Public Health. The equipment's already there for that, signage, everything is all ready to go if we needed it. It could also be a dispensing site, if we had to hand out water, because we had a bunch of contaminated wells. So that's what that's for. I just want to make sure that everybody was clear on what we have, what we use it for. And then-
What the intent is.
What would the capacity be for the new senior center? From 30 to what would you expect, or what do we need?
Initially, when I sat on this committee when we talked a few years ago, we were looking at it to be able to service 150 people. So that would mean a great room that could fit maybe, if they had a suite there. So that's the kind of goal I would like to see, because then we would be able to supply for 100 people. Anything greater than that, we're gonna start talking about regionalization, using regional centers, working with other towns, working with other.
I would think anything larger than that, then it becomes.
You just said us.
disaster. And either the state or the federal government would commit.
The thing is, it depends on is it a local disaster, just Mendon, or is it county-wide? Because when it becomes county-wide, you're self-sufficient for a minimum 3 days, maybe 7. I think we saw that back in the ice storm, the October ice storm. We were out for 7 days. And on the fire department side, we were bringing water out to neighborhoods. We were bringing portable generators out to places that we could.
Oh, yeah, right.
We didn't even have the
Yeah,
capability.
right, didn't we, weren't we,
All of Thayer
I think
Road, that whole area.
didn't we bring one to, like, Mr. Phipps's mom's house, where Mr. Phipps, yeah, because she had oxygen and needed power for the, oh, yeah.
Street didn't have power for a week, they didn't even touch those poles.
That was Kingsley, right? Yeah, that was Kingsley, right?
East Road.
That's something, and again, that was more local than it was, so we were able to pull in where we needed. I could get generators and like plants from FEMA or MEMA. But if it's countywide, even statewide, we have to become self-sufficient.
What kind of size is the inadequacy of the current?
So,
size?
that's what I was just getting at, so you have 1,800, you're running 30 people in 1,800 square feet, we should probably definitely be good with 106 to 7,000 square feet.
Yeah, I think, and if you look at the layout and design, the big facility room, which can be divided up,
Right,
could hold 75 to 100 people probably. Then there's another facilities area downstairs.
Right.
Plus there are associated classrooms, so you would be able to fit your goals, I think.
To have that though, now we need the storage to hold the equipment.
all the cots and everything.
The existing building.
Well, we have some, we have some unfinished basement areas. We do.
And that's what.
And also the garage is going to have a whole storage area for durable goods and maybe some of your stuff.
If you see what's in the garage right now, we have all the equipment in the garage, and they're all in plastic bins, they're all numbered and lettered, and I know what's in there, so, but that's for good people.
We gotta triple that, quadruple that.
Well, Mike was going to connect with you and Mike Petrovic and Mark, maybe you guys just, I'll send you his number if you don't have it.
He was with us in the last time we went with us, so we,
Yeah.
we have a history of knowing what each other wants.
It'd probably be important if you could chat with him this coming week, so he can close that down into his estimates. Because he needs to know if you need a garage just for this stuff. Because we do have 2 bins down there, I guess, too, that we pay rent for.
What, pods?
Yes, yes, that's,
Oh, yeah?
it's got durable medical equipment in one, maybe even both of them.
There's just no storage in that place. That was our last
There's
meeting.
nothing, there's
Storage,
nothing.
storage. But, okay, any other?
Saving money already?
Okay, I just want to say one other thing. Tom and I didn't meet this month because there wasn't really too much going on. We did do the chili cook-off, which we got
Oh, yes.
honorable mention.
What?
Yeah, we did. And we did the trunk or treat on Sunday in the rain, but we couldn't put the posters out. It was torrential rain.
Yeah.
And, but everybody who came, we said we're the Mendon Senior Center, and we had some pamphlets, but it wasn't really that kind of event. They had enough doing with holding on to their kids in the rain. The only thing that I see next is the Santa Parade, unless anyone knows about any other activity that's coming up.
Just,
One other event that I did reach out on is the turkey trot.
And when is that?
Thanksgiving
I don't know
morning.
The exact date, well, it'll be Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving morning.
Oh, okay.
That's the turkey trot.
Yeah.
That's at the Clef School.
If you'd like to set up a table at the end of my driveway, because they run right by, we can give them pamphlets on the way by.
Well, Phil and Carol from the COA and Diane from the COA will be handing out the pamphlets at the
We'll be at
town
the town meeting
meeting.
next week.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do pamphlets, we'll do it.
We figured
revised
3 was
flyer.
plenty. 3 is plenty.
I'm gonna hit the veterans breakfast.
Yes, yes, that's fine, good. We're
Just
going to
to-
have some on the table.
Yeah, we can just, if there's questions, we can
Mhm.
chat and listen to their concerns and
Yep.
jot them down.
Yeah. And were you going to say something?
The night of the Santa Parade,
Yep.
the Lions are gonna have something at the museum, the Historical Museum. We used to do the Holiday Fair every year. The Lions have now split from the church, and we're going out on our own, working with the Historical Society to hold it at the museum now. So it'll be Friday night and Saturday.
Okay.
So there'll be some people there.
I did talk with Jane Lowell, and she gave me permission to put pamphlets and things in there. So we're good for that. I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing anything.
That's all I knew.
I don't know. I don't know, Tom, have you got any back from the schools or anything, or have they?
Well, I reached out to Lindsay,
And who you mean? Nickerson?
yeah,
Nickerson.
who actually is in charge of that event.
Oh,
So I'm
okay,
just waiting to hear back.
okay.
Yeah, I did present what we were looking to do, so.
Which one?
You talking about the Santa Parade?
No, turkey trot.
For
Oh, the turkey
for the
trot.
turkey trot.
Okay. Anybody else?
Running,
Motion to adjourn?
second.
All in favor?
All
Aye.
right.
Hey, I did it, that's.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I'm not just packing up, I'm gonna pack. I'm trying